child of light, so bravely you wield your blade.
And those are the best video games that came out on the Vita this year. There are 5 nominees for Best Vita Game in GameSpot's 2014 Game of the Year. All right, let's start with the first one on the list, OlliOlli.
Yeah.
The hardest move in skateboards, done twice. Why is that on our list?
GameSpot's Game of the Month, January.
It was. Good point. I forgot about that.
That game is so freaking hard, but that's kind of what makes it great. Like there are hurdles to get over, but they're not insurmountable, right? So you struggle to pull off the moves with the correct timing and keep a string of moves going, right? And that's kind of the basis of succeeding in this game. But once you begin to piece together these little skills, like one after another, you really get into this flow. And it's just, it's a cute little 2D game, but really, it's a really technical, challenging experience that just gets better as you learn and become a better player.
And you can just do, and it's not just about achieving sort of the bar that's set down for you for a given level. You as you get better and more fluid, you try more, and you attempt more, and you bite it harder, but then you, land that super awesome run that just, is everything goes smoothly, and it's,
And your heart's pumping at the end of it, and your wrist is hurting. But
you have to wipe down your Vita afterwards because your hands are sweaty. Oh, man, that's the best.
And like any handheld game, it's something that makes you, once you finish it, you didn't make it quite as far as you wanted, just one more time. Maybe I'll make it better next time. But then you do that again, and then again.
then it's 3 a.m., and you're deep in the suburbs, and how did you get there?
Keeping with that sort of frantic, frenetic pace, Velocity 2X, a game that was popular on PlayStation 4 as well, and of course on the PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, this is a sequel to Velocity.
Really?
But anyway, more importantly, so this game mixes sort of it's some shmup elements and then some side-scrolling action stuff. But it's mostly about, kind of like you said about OlliOlli, right? Doing the best you can as quickly as you can. I was playing this game on the PS4 with my girlfriend the other day. She wasn't playing, but I was, and she was like, I don't know if it's just because I don't know what you're doing or you're doing it really fast, but I cannot keep up with what's happening on the screen. And it's, it's these string of simple maneuvers that you learn, and you sort of go through these levels like teleporting, shooting, defending, and maneuvering as quickly as you can. And it's such an invigorating little experience. And these moments go by so fast, but they're designed really well. And you might miss it, but I think the fact that it works so well is evidence of how good or how well the game is designed.
It's one of those games that seems so completely ridiculously difficult when you're looking, when you first start playing it. It reminded me of when you play Meat Boy for the first time. You're like, how am I supposed to complete these? And then it just becomes this weird sort of second nature type thing.
Yeah.
Changing pace quite dramatically to Child of Light, a great little game, which I wanted to do this entire section in rhyme to see if it would irritate you guys. But
it would.
That's probably the one criticism of that game, is that sort of rhyming structure in the narrative gets a little bit old after
That's
a while.
what bothered me. I think maybe they thought they were really clever when they decided to do that, and they spent a lot of time trying to make it work.
Yeah, I bet it took a lot of writing.
Yeah, but that aside, I think Child of Light works really well on a few levels. One is the combat system, which is sort of reminiscent of Grandia, where you sort of you weigh the using these moves right away to sort of have another move available to you, or whether you defend or counter. And that works really well. And it's got a really nice art style that's pretty charming, too. And it's sort of unique in the RPG world. It's definitely a European game, but it has a lot of the sort of touches that Japanese RPGs, really successful ones, have had in the past and brought them to a modern game.
I love that storybook art style. It's something that draws you in and makes it feel like you're watching a children's book, kind of living out in front of you.
That's our third nominee. Our fourth, Freedom Wars. Chris, I remember you hosted a live stream for this bad boy.
So when you're going into E3, a lot of time the big name games, the games that are coming across your plate, but Freedom Wars was one that was not on my radar. And then all of a sudden I'm hosting this demo, and oh my god, like this is not only a game with like really interesting combat mechanics, but also a sprawling, like lengthy world. Like this is not an 8-hour experience. This is 40 hours. This is more hours. This is one of those rich, deep experiences that keeps that Vita in your pocket, in your backpack for months and months and months. And we had huge fans of this who could speak way more eloquently than I did, and did during our discussions to earn it the nomination. But it's one of these games that like. Even though we all have, you come in with your experience of all the games you've played all year and all the games you've heard of, you come out of that meeting inevitably with a desire to play something new.
Yeah.
And this is one of those games because the people who were advocating for it were just so convincing.
And another game that I came out of that meeting wanting to play, and it also wins the Danny O'Dwyer Most Satisfying Word to Say 2014, is Danganronpa 2.
Two. I mean, we got 2 of these games in the same year. Danganronpa came out earlier in the year. Danganronpa 2. For me, it's hard to decide which one is the one that should be nominated. Of course, we went with the second one because it's closer out. But there's just such a quirky mix of visual novel. It's kind of a continuation in some ways. If you played the 999 or Virtue's Last Reward games, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to love. Or if you love Phoenix Wright and that kind of living out a story, but going on a much more crazy adult, mix in some mini games sort of way. That's what Danganronpa is.
Excellent. Those are our 5 nominees for GameSpot's Game of the Year on PlayStation Vita 2014. The winners for that will be announced on December 14th. So you Vita fans, make sure you check back to GameSpot.com then.